Bendy in the Ink Machine, a game I most enjoyed playing through for its simplicity, its striking art style, and the music. The fucking music, man. It carries with it this piercing, haunting sound like someone screaming into the inky black void, begging to be heard. This sound, while very fitting for the game it accompanies, means so much more to me personally than anyone could have guessed. Fear. That is what I feel when I hear this song. Though it doesn't drudge up any particular fear of mine, but really just that sinking, unsettling throb in your heart. Every time I hear it, it only serves to remind me of the impending deadline, the unspoken questions, the hidden self-doubt, and the fact that, not just eventually, but inevitably, you will have to come to face the greatest monster of all. Not the actual creature hiding under the bed, but the thought that it might claw its way onto it. Not the knowing it will one day pass, but the thought that no one will know, that you might one day disappear. The quiet nights alone in your bed with your thoughts, in the dark, both of the room but of your own mind that threatens to break you, to make you uncomfortable, unsettled, even cry under the weight of it all. This is fear, something we all run from. But where? I started thinking, what even is fear? Not the monsters and murderers kind, but the kind that you carry quietly every day. I don't think fear is always loud. Sometimes it's silence. Sometimes it's not doing the thing, not sending the message, not walking into the room, not trying, because what if it all goes wrong? I've already talked in depth about my greatest fear, being forgotten. I made a whole video on it, and so I won't dive into it again here. But I'm human, and one fear is just never enough, apparently. And so another one I have is change. The thought that, inevitably, I'll have to move on. Move on to high school, college, get a real job. Then I'm on my own. And slowly, the gap between me and my family grows until a call from one of my siblings becomes a surprise, not a regular thing. A few nights ago, I was feeling it hard. I knew school was coming back up, I knew I had to get back into the game, and I knew that the days of childlike freedom were slipping, and with every passing day, the time inches closer to the end of the fun. But instead of fighting it, I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, that unsettling throb in my chest. I was exhausted, but the thoughts didn't stop. And worst of all, my headphones were dead, so I couldn't block out the noise either. Then, from downstairs, that song. One of my siblings must have been playing the game, but in that half-sleep daze, I didn't even register it. It wasn't a video game track anymore. It was just sound. And in the middle of all that noise, school stress, pressure to finish these videos, the creeping fear I might not make it in the end, I just lay there. And I didn't sleep well that night. Those nights in particular stand out to me just because of how they made me feel. Not just fear, but loneliness. It's one of those feelings that just stings in an empty sort of way. Like, whenever it's there, there's no possible way for anyone else to notice, even if we all go through it. There was a time, in fact, a very long time, where I was less than okay. But I won't go super deep into that because it's a little too personal. And no, but I will say this. During that time, I was alone. I thought I was, at least. And still to this day, I think about that time and pondering whether it's something deep in my psyche or something external that caused that nearly 4-year stint of depression. I realized that it wasn't one thing in particular that caused that pain, but rather a complex web of emotional and external factors that happened all in too close proximity to allow for each of those factors to be dealt with and fizzled out. The internal need for validation and appreciation for what I felt was then my unrewarded effort. The external events transpiring in what felt like too quick succession for me to breathe. And I can admit this, but yes, teenage angst did play a role in it. Basically, it was a really bad mix of terrible events, inner turmoil, and emotions running high that led me to feeling so utterly alone. And I can confidently tell you, down to a human being's core, we're programmed to be near each other. Not just for survival, but to share stories in whatever form they come in, and to emotionally connect and help others. This was deeply rooted in our human nature that even millions and millions of years later, to be alone still is one of the most viscerally frightening things a person can experience. To the point of driving one mad, to the point of driving someone to do something terrible, to the point where they will do anything, no matter how repulsive, to feel included. The most heartbreaking part of loneliness isn't just the silence. It's what some people try to do to escape it. It can break people, twist them, sometimes into monsters. And while that horror is never excusable, it often begins with something painfully human: the need to be seen. The fear of loneliness, the fear of the unknown. Those two are the most common feelings for a reason. No matter how confident someone may seem, they're still human. No one is immune. And, ironically, that's what connects us. It's funny, isn't it? When you feel alone, that's when you can rest knowing that millions upon billions of others feel the exact same way. To be alone is to be human, and loneliness, in a strange twist, connects us all. We laugh, we meme, we joke about how bad everything is, but sometimes that's just the mask. We smile, we say, "I'm fine," even though that's the farthest thing from the truth. Like, the moment you slap a Lambo onto something, it's not that deep anymore. But it still is, and it always was. It's just a coping mechanism. One that works until it doesn't. Until the cracks show, until the mask flips. Until the fear leaks out in ways you didn't even see coming. Snapping at someone you love, ghosting your friends, staying up until 3 a.m. because silence is too loud. And suddenly, you're not avoiding fear anymore. You're drowning in it. And the scary part? The mask works. People believe it. Even you believe it after a while. You start to wonder, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I'm just being dramatic. But deep down, there's still that throb inside. The one in your chest when you're alone. The one when the headphones are dead. The one when you've run out of distractions. That's when the fear comes back. Because the mask might fool everyone else, but it doesn't fool you. And maybe, in some way, the mask itself is fear. Fear of burdening others, fear of seeming weak, fear that if you actually showed someone the real mess inside, they'd walk away. So you stay quiet, you play the role, you smile just wide enough so that no one asks questions. but deep down, you're still screaming into the same inky black void I heard in that song. Eventually, we start to realize how deep we're in, and turn to other forms of coping. Therapy apps, talking to ourselves, hopping online more and more, using TikTok, Instagram, X, YouTube, whatever the case. We don't want to admit that, like everyone else, we need help. So we scroll, not really looking for anything, but hoping that something will come to the rescue. A quote, a post, a 15-second video that understands us better than our own family. Something to say, you're not crazy. This is normal. And when that lands, it feels like therapy. It feels like truth. But not all of it is. Because here's the problem. The internet will validate your pain, but it won't always help you heal it. And some of it, it's just wrong. Like, actively damaging. You're sad, you're obviously in your villain arc. You're overwhelmed, just cut off everyone and protect your peace. You're angry, that's main character energy. There's this culture of romanticizing the breakdown instead of repairing the foundation. Saying, this is just who I am, when no, you're just hurt. In some corners of the internet, they don't just miss the mark. They hand you a gun and call it self-love. You've got other misunderstood teens telling each other to self-diagnose with checklists. You've got creators preaching that therapy is a scam while shilling their own coaching programs. And the worst part, when you're vulnerable, when you're desperate, that content doesn't sound sketchy. It sounds like a lifeline. Like someone finally gets it. But slowly, you stop growing. You stop trying. Because if you're just broken, well, then what's the point of fixing anything? It's a trap dressed up as truth. But sometimes, the thing keeping you stuck isn't the fear itself. It's the voice telling you that fear makes you special. That you're meant to suffer quietly and aestheticize the collapse. But you're not. You're meant to survive it, not marinating it for views and validation. I know this will be so much easier said than done, but you need to get yourself out of this. Find the strength in yourself to say, I can't rely on the other opinions and ideas of others. Because I'm sad to say, but sometimes creators will try to bank off your own sadness. They make TikToks and YouTube videos advertising their book or course that will help you through your pain. They take advantage of the fact that if you're so desperate to be relieved of your pain that you'll do anything to get rid of it, they'll ask you to buy their course. That'll most likely not end up working in the end. Because sometimes people don't care. But listen, you don't need them. Not really. Not the millionth self-help reel. Not the Twitter thread of some coach telling you to drink more water and cut off your toxic friends by sunrise. At the end of the day, the person who knows you the best, the real you, not the masked up, curated for public view version, is, well, you. And honestly, you're not broken. You're just overwhelmed. You're human. You already have the tools. That little flicker in your brain that says, tell them, ask them for help. Maybe this time, it'll go right. That voice isn't lying to you. It's scared too, yeah, but it's trying. It's not shouting like fear does. It's whispering and hoping you listen. Courage isn't some dramatic battle cry. It's just deciding to try. Even when you'd rather stay curled up in a burrito of self-doubt and existential dread. You're allowed to be scared. You're allowed to not have it all figured out. But you're also allowed to be proud of yourself for getting this far. Because when you peel back the layers, the loneliness, the mask, the coping, the I'm fine jokes you toss like candy wrappers, what's left isn't weakness. It's you. And you're still here. That counts for something. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be honest. And maybe take one small step. Even if that step is just choosing to believe you're worth helping. Because you are. This is fear. We all run from it. But Where?